My heart belongs right here next to you, baby.
Hey.
Hey, and I'm talking about my own self. My heart belongs to me, right next to me. Right
Yes.
next to me. Right next to me. See, my heart got to belong next to me first, y'all. Before it can belong right next to anybody else, okay?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Welcome back to Spirit Wisdom Reset. My name is Uja Wajet and my host, Mayet Ajay-Ib. We are here talking about the Crossroads. This is the final episode of this series, and we are talking about decision. And after this, if you have not tuned in to the previous episodes around this particular topic, be sure to tune into that, and don't forget to check out our Q&A, which we will be doing live on our YouTube channel. So don't forget to subscribe to Spirit Wisdom Reset on YouTube. So let's dive into decision and how that plays a role when it comes to the crossroads. The crossroads meaning you are at a point, you are at a pivotal point in your life where you have to make a choice. It's a turning point. And decision, you might think is the first step, but it very much is the final step, right? Because decision requires action. The action starts in the mental plane. It starts with you deciding, making that decision, and then from there, seeing how that shows up for you physically. So, for example, if you make a choice to, let's say you're going to quit your job, and this is just an example I'm sharing, right? There's so many different ways this can show up. You decide you're going to quit, that you want to quit your job, right? That starts in your mind first.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of things that build up to that decision, right? So before you even get to that point, there's things that happen. There's things that you're already feeling. You already decide that this isn't for you. And we've kind of talked about how this kind of can show up when it comes to the resistance and the flow and being able to, in receiving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Receiving what's possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then deciding like, okay, I need to do something different. I need to do something else in order to experience have a different result,
Right.
or to step into this unknown territory. And that can be a little bit scary sometimes, but as mentioned in the previous episode, something being afraid of something or something being scary isn't necessarily a bad thing. Oftentimes it's a good thing. But when it comes to making a decision, it starts once you're in that flow state, once you decide to receive that information in line, like what feels good in your body,
Mm-hmm.
even if it scares you a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
that is the information that you can use to make that decision mentally of like, okay, it's that internal promise or commitment to yourself that this is the thing that you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can, if necessary, if applicable, bring that up to other people if needed, or take the action in that physical realm, which is if it's creating or establishing or reinforcing boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not doing something anymore or starting to do something, changing your routine. Is it starting to learn something new? Is it, you know, finding a mentor, a coach, a counselor? Is it, the action can be different. So the action can just be stillness, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it can be meditation and deciding to let me be more in practice of receiving.
Mm-hmm.
Let me be more in practice of doing the things so I can maintain the flow state and being in receivership, as
Mm-hmm.
we kind of talked about. Mayette, I would love your take on this.
Girl, listen, let me tell you something. We can go through all of these steps and get to a place to where we have to make a decision and we freeze. We're at the crossroads. We've done all this work, honey, but we forgot about all the work we've done because we've gotten into a flow, because we recognized what we were resisting, right? And then we opened up to receive, and everything is all good, and There's a place you still got to get to, though, and there's a decision that needs to be made in order for you to get to the promised land, so to speak, of that particular situation. And we freeze because that means we have to be different. That means we have to change. Like we have to show up in the world of something other than what we were prior to this process starting. This is where it can become a challenge because no matter what way you have to do it, it's still a decision to be made. Not making a decision is a decision in itself. You decided not to decide. So we are not you, we, because listen, every part of your journey, every single aspect of your journey calls for decision making. Should I answer the phone or not? Should I get out of the bed or not? Should I fix food or not? Should I reply to what they said or not? Should I act in this way or not? Every single thing that we do, decision, decision, decision. You already make them. Now, what this causes you to do is another thing about decisions is it causes you to see how you make them.
Mm-hmm.
And how and the one that you make most often. What decision do I make most often? What
And where does it stem
vibration?
from? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What vibration does that decision type carry? Why
Mm-hmm.
do I always choose this particular decision? Because those of us, then I used to do it too, and in some instances, I still do it, and in future instances, I might do it in other situations. But I get to that decision, I get to that end of that road, I get to that cliff, and my motherfucking ass say, "Oh, what's over there? What is that? I can't see it that good. It's not in focus. I don't want to make that decision. I don't care how much work I did. I get to the place where I want it to be. I feel it. I love it. And I just pause because decision making yields a certain amount of responsibility. When you make a decision, you take on a new level of responsibility or a new frequency of responsibility for what you decided to do, what you
Mm-hmm.
decided not to do. So you get to that space and you freeze. Don't freeze. Sit still in that decision and allow your spirit to speak to you. You've gotten used to your spirit in the resistance. Your spirit was talking to you then. Your oversoul. Listen, child, you can call it your spirit, your oversoul. You can call it your higher self. It don't matter what it is. Some talking to you that's been saying the same thing that's leading you on the right road, and you just hadn't been listening long enough. But you did listen to get to this point through resistance flow and receivership. You did listen to get to the point to where now you're at the decision making process. So go back and see how you listen, what you listen to, and what you sound like, so that you can start doing more of that. At some point in your decision making, you're gonna be like, I know that's my spirit. Ain't no shit. I'm not even finna look over there. I'm gonna just go. Yep, I know that's my decision. That's my spirit.
Mm-hmm.
My spirit is said and showed me, and this is the way I'm gonna go, and what's gonna happen in there. Your spirit gonna show you that too, but that's a whole nother segment. Okay, but the decision, you're gonna see it when your spirit give it to you. You're gonna get to that space where you like, oh yeah, you won't have to repeat them lessons no more, sis.
Yeah.
Sis, you won't bring those type of men to you that do those things that you're so used to them doing, because you're no longer in that space that is going to receive it, nor are you in that space that is going to vibrate it to you. Brothers,
Mm-hmm.
brothers, you're not in that space anymore where you're going to be attracting these old trifling women.
Decide to set boundaries is what's really coming up strongly.
Oh, come
Like
on.
somebody needs to hear that. It doesn't matter when you're listening to this. It doesn't, I don't care when you're listening to this. Decide to set the boundary, the personal boundary for yourself of what you're not going to do, what you're not going to continue to
Yes.
do, what you're not going to fall back on. Like, stop breaking promises to yourself. Stop it.
Listen, set the boundary today. And it ain't,
Mm-hmm.
see, there people got setting boundaries all fucked up. A lot of times the way society has switched it is a boundary is something that is set so that you won't have to have accountability for your own shit.
Yeah.
You don't want to face it. So sometimes people set boundaries that are based off of a protection mechanism,
Mm-hmm.
a defense mechanism. I'm
Yeah.
gonna set my boundary. I'm gonna put this wall up so you won't fuck with me because I don't want to hear the truth about myself. So if you're a person that set boundaries like that, go and evaluate why you do that. But then it is time for you to set boundaries if you not doing if you haven't been, because you don't even know what they are. That's a
Right.
whole other thing. You don't even know
Exactly.
you don't know it's a boundary violation until you've been violated. You like, wait a minute, that don't feel right. Hold on, why? Wait a minute, I got upset behind that. Hold on, wait a minute now.
And sometimes that's how it comes up. Sometimes you don't recognize, especially like when you are changing and growing and you're navigating your own like journey of self-discovery, personal
Mm-hmm.
spiritual growth.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes like you don't even recognize because we have these conditioned beliefs or these things that we don't even recognize that we have agreed to by just not even having an opinion on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it gets challenged in a way, and it's an opportunity. I always like to look at things as what's the opportunity. So if you feel triggered in some way, if you feel if you
Mm-hmm.
feel if you're in your feelings or it upsets you, or you get some sort of strong response, or something is just, or if you are receiving a message, or it's
Mm-hmm.
intuitive hit or some guidance like, oh, this isn't, something is off here, something doesn't feel right here,
Mm-hmm.
then it's an opportunity for you to make a decision of what you're not going to do or what you're going to start doing, or even to explore it further so you can become clearer on where you stand on a
Yes.
situation or something like that. Like, so that, and that's a part of it. It's okay, right? It's okay to not know. Not knowing is the best part, actually. The
Mm-hmm.
not knowing, it's not knowing is the best part, because you have the opportunity to go into this unknown and discover who you are in the process of it. And then
Mm-hmm.
you can decide what is for you and what is not for you. And I feel like it's such a big thing, especially in the spiritual community. Like, oh, if you are identify as, being a, or subscribe to one particular type of religion or spiritual practice or something like that's the only way it can be. And I call bullshit, because
Yeah.
no, like that's not the only way it has to be. So you can find what is for you, you can discover what is for you, and then or just explore what's out there, right?
Right.
But you can't, if you don't know what's out there, how are you going to know? If you are
Right.
just stuck in this one bubble of an
Right.
experience,
Right.
or of of a practice, or whatever
Mm-hmm.
it is, whatever the thing is
Mm-hmm.
in your life, doesn't matter what it is. If you only
Right.
know this thing and you don't have anything to compare it to, nothing, then what are you doing?
Right.
And you can choose to stay there again. You
Right.
can choose to stay there. But if you are at a point, if you're listening to us,
Okay.
you ain't in the bubble no more.
You out that motherfucking bubble. You
You ain't
ain't
in
in
the
the
bubble.
bubble,
You
baby. You
definitely not
out
in the
the
bubble.
bubble, baby. You out the bubble, baby.
You
You
ain't
out
in
the
the
bubble.
bubble, baby.
You
You at
can't.
least looking outside. You know there's something outside the bubble.
Look, you at least doing this.
Exactly. You peeking. You
What's
taking a
going
peek.
on?
You
Oh,
flirting with you
okay.
flirting with the unknown a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
You
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 doing
got a
some
crush
things.
on the unknown a little bit. You
Okay. Okay. It is what it is. All I'm
shove
gonna say
around.
is this. All I'm gonna say is this. When you at the place in your life where you just really, when you decide it's a shift in perspective, and you start to see things and you start to see the good in everything. And then when you start doing that, every decision you make is going to be the decision that you're supposed to be making anyway. And you'll find peace, joy, and love in that. And your life no longer becomes this struggle of oh my God, do I this, do I that, oh my God, why is this, why is that, why not this, you just be like, oh, okay, well, damn, okay, I chose that, oh, all right then, okay, so what lesson is it in there for me? You know what I'm saying? Because now I'm at the point in my life to where no decision I make is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't treat it as a lower vibrational anything. Every relationship I have from this point going forward, everything I say, I am completely, fully, consciously aware of it, because I am making certain I am doing what is required for me to be so. That is that every time I'm paying attention to what we started this out with. What are the little things that are coming up that is going to lead to a catastrophic event in my life that I feel is catastrophic? And
Exactly.
I'm stopping it before it gets to that catastrophic state. That's what this series was about, for you to recognize on a macro and a micro level of how what these little small little crossroads that is just like a ripple in a ocean. It's a ripple, but you get a lot of ripples together, and they hadn't quite met yet. But as soon it's going to be something that happens that's going to cause one to catch up with the other.
Yeah.
And then you got some way back here, that motherfucker gonna catch up too, and they still going the same pace, but this one right here is going a little bit faster enough to catch up. And then you have all of these things lined up in a row that is caught up with each other, and bam, you get this tsunami come over and just drown your ass. But we trying to get
Mm-hmm.
you to the place to where you can see the ripples. God
Yes.
damn it, those are crossroads too. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to. The key is you can enjoy this journey, baby. Good Lord Jesus. You don't have to chase everything. You don't have to. And you'll see where the crossroads are, and why it is. Is this a programming? Is this a traumatic response? Is this a behavior taught program behavior? You know what I'm saying? You'll be able to see those things in every little thing you do. In
Yep.
every little thing that you do, you'll be able to see it. It'll register, and it will happen, and your journey will become beautiful. Dude, it will become beautiful. Okay,
Absolutely.
it will become beautiful. Listen, on our last so what you've gone through right now is you went through the spirit aspect where you heard from spirit, and it was you at the crossroads. We talking about where you at. You heard from spirit, you at the crossroads, and then you listened long enough to gain some wisdom. We've gone through the wisdom. This is the final stage of the wisdom that you get when you recognize you're at a crossroads. Final stages that you get to, right? And then the last thing is for you to reset. You thought that the decision making was the final step. No, not the final step. In every situation, one should always reset. In every situation, one should always reset. Okay, and we'll talk more about what reset is when you get to the reset. Okay, so I tell you what, if you haven't figured it out by the end of this first series, our show is dedicated to expressing growth. Our show is dedicated to non judgment. Our show is dedicated to not in your face, and I'm gonna be on here talking. And now, this is not a place and space that carries that type of low vibrational frequency, so we won't entertain it. It's not something we're going to entertain because that's not where we are. We don't do things like that. We are in this world and have recognized that we in this joker, but we are
Mm-hmm.
not of it. And we have full recognition of that. And so, because since we have full recognition, you have people that say it but don't recognize its truth. What you gonna get from us is straight love, baby. Sometimes it's baby, I like it raw. Sometimes it's
You're gonna
gonna
get a
be
lot of
Sometimes it's gonna
that.
be better love, baby. Ooh, you got the love that I want. Y'all don't know about that. No, 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 about that. Listen. This has been a beautiful thing. But we got one more to come, and that is going to be answering. In that, we'll give a synopsis, and then we'll go to the questions that you have, and we'll have a question and answer session. So it's very important for you to add any questions from any part of the segment, whether it's the resistance, whether it's the flow, whether it's the receive, whether it's the decision process, whether it was in the beginning where spirit was speaking to you at the beginning stages in the crossroads. If there was something that really touched you and changed your life, put it in there in the questions, make the comment so that we can grab that and we can share that live. Because we are only here because of you. We are only here because of you, because we have understood that part of what we came to do is this, and we came to do it with each other, she and I. And we are in full awareness of what we're supposed to be doing. And we want you to share with us so that we can share with somebody else, because sharing everything is sharing the love. when you share your growth, when you share those hard moments, we want to read those too, so people can share and we'll shout you out. So that means you got to go on over to the YouTube so we can get your username, and we're going to shout your username out. Or unless you put your name in the comment that you make in your share, then we'll do it that way. Or you can, send us emails, become a part of our email list and get on the VIP list. Okay. That
Yes.
VIP list is going to enable you some, behind the scenes footage, some things that y'all ain't gonna be able to see when we have them conversations with she and I in between doing what we doing, and
Mm-hmm.
conversations that we gonna you listen. You want to know, you want to get in on those.
I know,
That's
right?
for
We off the
the
chain.
VIP list. That's for the VIP list. That's one of the perks for the VIP list. Okay, some inside scoops. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Some inside scoop. So if you would please do that, come on back, honey, for that reset session. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. Woo wee! I am Mayette Ib, and this is my beautiful co-host,
Ujo Wajet.
Joanne,
Yes,
baby.
it's been a pleasure. And yeah, if you want to be a part of the live experience, then definitely come over to our YouTube channel. And you'll all the links to get to all the things are going to be in the description of whatever platform that you are consuming this content on. So be sure to tune into that. And we will see you on the next one.